Oh, you thought it would take me forever to post this video? Stupid idiots! Unless it did take me a while, then I'm sorry. Welcome back to my
Epic
Let's Play of Pokemon
Violence
version, where I take my frustrations out on the school bullies. Speaking of which, where we left our hero, we had been fast approaching a Team Star base. I never explicitly mentioned this in the last video. However, context clues may have guided you to this answer. And if you never had the opportunity to gain those context clues by watching my last video, go back and watch it. And while you're clicking a bunch of buttons, make sure you subscribe! Ooh, booga 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 booga! Yeah, just hit that button. Thanks.
Hey, you're just mad because I'll be able to do something with my fucking guitar in hands that you'll never be able to achieve in your entire life, kid. So yeah, you're gay.
So, yeah, we beat up that loser. Then it was time to take on the Team Star base. More interactive gameplay. Push R, fight the card. That's it. Backstory. Whoa, she's got, like, boots. She's like SpongeBob at the prom. Anyway, she basically talks about how she forces a bunch of Char cadets into servitude in order to power their vehicles. And then she starts talking about Operation Star, and they don't really expand on that thought very much. They kind of just drop it there as some sort of foreshadowing. It's not very interesting. Holy shit, she walks big. When she steps, she steps. And with the commemoration selfie, we get to move on.
Why is she fucking Nazi high-stepping?
She had her knees surgically removed and replaced with boots.
By the way, Penny has been visiting us after the Team Star bases as part of the supply unit of Operation Starfall. Boy, she sure has a small role as one of the main characters. Surely that can't be all she does, right? Are you stuck? What are you doing? You got yourself stuck. Why are you yelling at me? Why are you yelling at me when I'm trying to get you unstuck after you got your own dumbass stuck? What are you doing? What the fuck?
That's nuts.
Soon we make it to Lavencia Town, the town of the electric gym leader. And you may notice I'm walking around with my little rat guy. As it turns out, you need to walk 1,000 steps with him out of the ball in order to evolve him. 1,000? Do you know how slowly this absolute inconvenience walks? You have to take like 4 steps and then wait for him. It is impossible to walk at a regular pace with him, because if you walk too fast, he goes back to the ball. It's ridiculous. And so I'm walking around trying to make him less useless, because he's useless, and he's making it the worst experience of my life. What did I do to deserve this? Just make him walk at a normal goddamn pace, Game Freak. Please. Anyway, I got impatient, so I went inside the gym. Instead of Tetanus being at the door to greet us, 2 other individuals are here. One that makes me feel funny, and another whom you should not hassle. They're from the Elite Four, and they came to say, "Never give up!" And that's real inspirational and all. But I just want to fight the gym leader, who is apparently going to be hosting me on her stream. Oh my gosh, collab. At first, I thought Game Freak was being super in touch with this, because Iono is like a VTuber. The problem is that her VTuber model, or at least what I assume would be the VTuber model, is just her. And like, that's okay, because she looks like a VTuber. But is she a VTuber or a flesh tuber? I guess she could be using a green screen. Like, that's possible. The way they have her in the corner, though, makes me feel like she's a VTuber. Just the way she is. Leave a comment down below. Is she virtual because virtual or flesh? Anyway, she makes us play Where's Waldo with Clevel, that principal guy. He hides and we have to find him, and he's not great at it, except for that one time where he was down on the boat. That was kind of tricky. My eyes are sharp, Clavel. You can't hide from me, you fu— The one thing I will definitely give them props on, though, and this might just be the localization, Iono has simps. Each time you find Clavel, you have to fight someone, and they are— oh my god, they love Iono. Oh boy. He's a simp.
They know what they're on about.
I love you, Iono! Long live the Iono Zone indeed. The first time I saw the trailer for her, I was all about it. I loved the Iono Zone. I did. But see, in the trailer, she was voiced and everything. And as we all know, the actual game is not voice acted. And now she is but the hollow corpse of what she could have been. Just like, imagine if this is what we had. Oh my god. And on that note, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
He's counting. Why is he counting?
He's slightly bigger again! Why can't you just be better? As much as I mourn the loss of our queen, Game Freak was right. She needs to be put down. And that's probably the only thing we'll ever agree on. Not only do I need her badge, but more importantly, she is my competition. And the less of that there is, the better. Clearly her existence is the one and only reason I'm not at 1 million subscribers yet. By the way, if you haven't hit that button, I'll know. The fight begins with Iono's Wattrel versus Pawmot, or Pawmo. The last one was Pawmo, so this one's probably Pawmot. I don't know. Pawmot is able to one-shot the Wattrel, unsurprisingly, as I have an 11-level lead on her. That being said, this is one of the last times he will ever be useful to me. Iono decides she wants to send out Bellibolt, and I basically immediately decide that it's time to send in Clodsire and clean up. Clodsire is a ground type, and Bellibolt is only an electric type. It has Water Gun, but Clodsire's ability is Water Absorb. Bellibolt doesn't have any moves that can hurt Clodsire. 2 Mudshots later, and Bellibolt was down. Her next Pokemon, Luxio, goes down in just the same way. But then she sends out Mismagius, which is weird for an electric type gym leader to have. But you can Terrastalize in this game, so it doesn't really matter. The problem is that Mismagius has Levitate, and so Clodsire can't hit the Mismagius. And so we switch into the Funny Mice. Funny Mice make short work of the Mismagius. And the fight is over. Iono is funny, so she calls us friendo. With that, we get to collect her gym badge, and then we take a selfie on stream in order to convince the masses that we do not in fact hate each other. But I'll be back when the cameras are off. Makes me want to just challenge you to a battle right here, right now. Shut up, Pneumonia.
God, I wish we could fight. Holy fuck, I want to fight you. Oh my god.
She just wants to fill your lungs with fluid.
Yeah, that's the worm.
I don't think I can play this game anymore.
Ah, he's got arms. This is the Titan Pokemon, Worm with arms. Goodness, is he a good boy. We're gonna get a couple things out of defeating Worm with arms. Number 1, we'll be able to capture the good boy, which is great, because he really is a good boy. And number 2, Miraidon will be powered up, and Miraidon will gain the ability to jump super duper high. It's like everywhere is one of those trampoline parks. So we follow the good boy through his good boy cave, and we end his life on the other side. He wiggled his last waggle. With him out of the way, we're able to collect the drugs, and then feed them to Miraidon and Mabosstiff. If you don't remember, Arven, this guy, is making sandwiches for his dog to make him feel better, because he's very sickly. This time, he gains the ability to bark again. Aw, that's so sweet. Now shut up about it. My dragon can do big jump. Holy shit. Oh, that's massive. We leave those losers in the dust and head off to the next area, the poison type Team Star base. Now I know that this auto battler part is everyone's favorite part of this game. I get it. Everyone loves the mobile game aesthetic in their Pokemon game. I get it, I do. But I am going to be skipping through this, as there are other things that we need to address in this video that take precedence over this. I really truly am sorry. Please forgive me. After all that, we get to fight Atticus, the clothing designer of Team Star. This is the asshole that gave the Fire Lady her big boots. Terrible, evil, villain. How could you? She will never bend her knees again. For that, Atticus must serve penance. Now you may think what I do here is defeat Atticus in battle and take their badge, but no, I killed Atticus. Atticus is dead. I steal the badge and take a selfie with myself. It really was an interesting decision to allow murder in this Pokemon game. It's something they haven't done in the past. Perhaps this is why you can't enter any of the houses in this game. All the doors are locked. They fear for their lives. But they needn't worry. The people are in no danger. They haven't made any horrid fashion statements. Nor have they been school bullies. Unless they were in the past. Then, maybe they should worry. Oh god, I'm turning into Nemona. I've got to tone it down a little bit. It would be awful if I ended up like her. Maybe this school is just designed to churn out psychopaths. Kind of a weird take on the school system, but... We make our way to the next gym and... Oh. See, this is exactly what I'm talking about. Anyway, the gym challenge here is to find a bunch of people that will tell you all the ingredients to a certain dish that the gym leader wants you to order. When you're able to order that dish, you can challenge the gym leader. Now, I tried. I did. I could not, for the life of me, find these other challengers. I don't know why. I still don't know where they are. But I ended up going into the gym because I thought I was doing something wrong. And then when they asked me for the food, I panicked. And I said, do you remember what the do you remember what the answer was, Alex?
Yeah, grilled rice balls, medium, super fire style, like whatever the bottommost option is, and then topped with lemon.
Now, was that cheating, you may ask? Well, did I kill someone in cold blood previous to this? Anyway, the restaurant turns into a battlefield. What happened to all those poor citizens that were sitting at those tables? We'll never know. And before fighting the gym, I decided it was time to evolve a couple of my boys. Tinkatuff ends up with a way bigger hammer, and also learns the move Gigaton Hammer. This move is insane. It has 160 base power, 100 accuracy, and the only drawback is that you can't use it twice in a row. It's insane. We also evolved Quaxwell into a new type of abomination. Why did Quaxley turn into this? Every time I look at it, I become sad. What's left of my shriveled heart shrivels more when I look at this. It really does need to be put on a cross. And with that, we get to fight Larry, the gym leader. He's just a normal old business guy. Or is he? Larry's just a normal old guy, so he uses normal types. He leads with Komala, but I throw in Tinkaton. Tinkaton's a steel type, and having just learned the big move, Gigaton Hammer, this fight will be easy. Unless I decide to swap out Tinkaton. Like, why did I do that? Like, what was the plan? I guess like a fighting type? Not to worry, Quaquaval knows low kick, which will be great against this super light koala. It goes down. Next out comes Dunsparce. See, this Pokemon was actually a really clever creation because they took Dunsparce, which is the stage before it, that was the original, and they duplicated its middle section, so now it has two middle sections. And so then they also did that with its name. Well, not the middle, it's like the beginning. It was very clever. Next, Larry is about to send out Staraptor, and I opt to switch back to Tinkaton because Quaquaval is not looking too hot. And finally, we get to see Big Gigaton Hammer. Oh, and also every time I put in Tinkaton, she's like in the floor for some reason. I'm not sure what the deal with that is. It's just kind of chilling there. It's a weird one. Larry terrestrializes Staraptor into a normal type, even though it kind of already was one. And I terrestrialize Tinkaton into a steel type, even though it already was one. But it'll make Gigaton Hammer do even more damage.
Wild. Get absolutely wrecked. Watch this demolish him.
You cast fucking nuclear bomb.
I sure did.
Honest.
This one attack would give me the key to sweeping through the rest of the game without even thinking about it. One picture with our dad later and we were out the door. Unfortunately, outside of the door was Nemona waiting to battle us. She does not quit.
That's like what, lymphoma?
Bro, lymphoma, he's...
So Nemona leads with Lycanroc, and I lead with Tinkaton. Lycanroc is a rock type, and Tinkaton is a steel type. Not that it matters, because I use Gigaton Hammer, and it dies. Next, she sends out Palmo, and I switch to Clodsire because I can't use Gigaton Hammer this turn. It goes down to Mudshot. This turn, I am able to use Gigaton Hammer, so I switch back to Tinkaton. She sends out Goomy, truly a good option for her, but you can guess what happens. That's right, I use Play Rough. Next, she sends out Skeledirge, which is the starter that is weak to my starter. Crazy how she picked that one. And then the fight was over. With her out of the way and Gigaton Hammer in my arsenal, I began to charge very quickly through all the objectives in this game. I had been playing this game for about 18.5 hours. The objective was to complete the game before 24 hours was up, and I was getting dangerously close to the end of my time with too many objectives remaining, so I kicked it into high gear. Our first stop on our rampage was to go after the Titan Pokemon, Iron Treads. It's not a Donphan, it's Iron Treads. This roly boy gave me a bit of trouble. I start out with Clodsire, but Clodsire gets knocked out rather quickly. And then I switch to Pawmot. Pawmot goes down rather quickly, because he is frail, and I hate him for that. But luckily for us, Quaquaval knows Low Kick. And basically every Titan Pokemon is very large, which means they should be very heavy. Low kick does more damage to heavier things. Iron Treads attempts to run away, but it can't hide for long. We will find you. And sure enough, we do. A few low kicks later, and that was that. We go steal the drugs to make sandwiches, and Miraidon gains the ability to fly. Actually, it's just gliding, which isn't really flying, but we can call it flying. Anyway, after that, I was swimming around, and I came onto this island, and there was this Raichu, and it's nuts. It's level 60, its Terra type is fighting, and its move pool is insane. And I know that because I caught it. That'll be useful later. Anyway, we were swimming around because we have to go to Casaroya Lake. On the lake is another Titan Pokemon. After enough running around, I was able to find the little bastard. Is that the Titan?
It's just a slightly bigger fish?
Yeah. Or so I thought. See, we in fact would not be fighting the small fish, but the really big fish. The really big fish actually kind of fucks, and it very quickly knocked out our Pawmot. Not that that's unusual. Why is he so weak? I opt to switch to the funny mice, hoping that Bullet Seed will be able to do more damage than our stupid, awful Pawmot, but that doesn't go so well either. The funny mice get knocked out. I send in Quaquaval next, which is really what I should have done from the start. Clearly I haven't learned by now, but low kick just works. Titan Pokemon are really big. A couple low kicks later and he just kinda... And then we just have to chase him. This lake is big, and they do not show you where he's going. So you kind of just have to swim around and hope you run into him. It sucked. But eventually we run back into the small fish, which apparently Big Fish had spit out at some point. Don't know why, because he just eats it again. I guess Little Fish did go get the drugs for him, but like, kind of lazy of him to not do it himself. Jeez. Round 2 with the Titan goes pretty similarly to the first. I send out Pawmot, I guess to paralyze it, and then Pawmot dies because he does that. I send in Quaquaval, because apparently now I've learned. 3 low kicks and a takedown later, and it's over. Oh, no, it's not. Small Fish pops out of the Big Fish because he is really bad at keeping his food down. We paralyze Small Fish. Small Fish knocks out useless Pawmot. Then we send in Tinkaton because that's a fairy type, and the Titan is a dragon type. I don't know why I keep explaining like really basic type matchups. Like I think it's just a filler because I don't have any other creative way to fill this space of the battle, but you don't mind, right? Small Fish fucking dies. This was the final Titan Pokemon and the final Herba Mystica that Arven needed to repair his dog. Arven makes the final sandwich and gives it to Mabosstiff. That's right. It didn't work. After all of that, Mabosstiff still wasn't cured. And there were no other Herba Mystica to collect. All hope seemed lost. Until... Ah, psych. Usually I'd cut this part out, but I'll give them a good boy moment. I think this was the only cutscene in this game that I really liked. Okay, but like Miraidon can climb up walls now, so like, you know we're about to climb up some walls. Arven lets us know to go back to the professor's lab. That's the lighthouse from the first area. The professor starts a Zoom call and lets us know we have to venture into Area 0 in order to save him. But to check if we're ready to go down, Arven says, let's battle. And this is where they start gatekeeping the endgame content, because Arven kicked my ass. Yeah, so his Pokemon are level 60, and mine are level 40. So I just left and went off towards the other gyms. 2 of the last 3 gyms are on this icy mountain peak. The first one we run into is the Ghost Gym. They're doing a little performance, and Charlie Moist Critical, haha funny, original joke, forces us to perform on stage, as he is in fact content pilled. The performance, of course, was just battling. But after that, we get to fight Rhyme, the gym leader. Notice how her name is Rhyme, because she raps. If you remember Sword and Shield, there was a certain guy and a certain scene in that game where someone sings and there is no voice acting, and it was really awkward and weird. Do you think Game Freak learned from this? If you said yes, you'd be dead wrong. I'm gonna play this clip for you, unedited. Tell me in the comments how it makes you feel.
That's all they have to do.
Did they not learn? It was so awful when they did that.
I don't know why. They obviously have the money to voice act things. I don't know why they haven't yet.
I don't know.
Is it because they just want to save file space?
Maybe.
Like, is that the only reason?
I mean, audio does take up a lot of space. Right? Audio is the largest part of a game.
Yeah.
So that might be part of it, but like, for the sake of making a good game, fucking,
right.
I don't know. So now it's time to battle. And I know I've already used this song in this video, but it is kind of a banger. So Rhyme's gym is actually a double battle. She leads Mimikyu and Bannet, and I lead Ceruledge and Quaquaval. Now, hypothetically, Ceruledge can sweep this gym. He's not going to, but hypothetically he could. I swap in the Funny Mice because they have beat up, and they have immunity to ghost types. So at this gym, not only is it a double battle, when you do something correctly, like abusing your opponent's weakness, the crowd goes nuts. And that subsequently raises your Pokemon's attack stats. That's cool, I guess. On top of this, my Nightmare Duck has been spamming Aqua Step, a move which raises your speed every time it is used. By the end of this battle, Quaquaval is going to be the fastest sweeper known to man. Rhyme sends in Houndstone. Oh, he's such a good boy. Look at, oh, he's such a good boy. Anyway, Quaquaval one-shots him, and Mimikyu also goes down this turn to Tinkaton. Ooh, then Rhyme gets really mad. This is like reading a Dr. Seuss book because she's not actually saying anything. Anyway, she sends out her last Pokemon, Toxtricity. It's a 2v1. We know how this goes. Guess you could say I sent that Toxtricity to the grave. Dang, that one was pretty funny. I should try being funny more often. I think I'm gifted at it. A natural talent of mine, you could say. Selfie time. Next gym. This gym was basically right next door, so we went there right away. We have to fight SARS, of course. It was like a copy-paste of the last battle. Then we have to do like a bobsled thing. It was really goofy, because like you can barely control it, and I don't think I did well. I didn't feel like I did it correctly. And then they were like, yeah, you did it, kid. Good job. Okay, but then we get to fight Grusha, and when I see Grusha, I'm all like, you know? But that feeling scares me, so I killed Grusha and went to get the next badge. By the way, this kid's in the Elite Four.
There's just literally a fucking baby in the Elite Four.
Our next objective is in this flower field. There's flowers, you just can't tell yet. And honestly, when you really think about it, it just makes sense that the flower field would be right next to the snowy mountain. Our next objective is the Fairy-type Team Star base. When we arrive at the gate, the Team Star leader's butler is hanging out with one of the grunts. And he's like, oh hey, we should battle. And nothing interesting happens. But he was there. Probably. Whoa, OMG, that's crazy, I did it. It's time for the battle with this bastard, Ortega. Who the fuck? This is the kid that solidified the idea in my head that Team Star really is just made up of a bunch of rich assholes that use their parents' money to buy themselves cars and friends. He's all like, oh, I joined Team Star because I was being bullied. Yeah, I'd bully you too. Have you heard yourself? Jesus. Everyone in Team Star is all like, oh, I got bullied. But then they go around and harass people. You're no better. What's wrong with you? I have no remorse for them, except for Big Boots Girl. Real fucked up what they did to her knees. This is the worst storyline in this game. They suck. And you know what? At the end of the game, they face no consequences for their actions. They led an uprising in the school, a rebellion, and nothing happens to them. What the fuck? As it would have it, my rant really got into Ortega's head. Really got to him. So he gave me the badge and left. It's really nuts to me how easy this game becomes when you simply remove your opponents from existence. You either kill them, or you can just make them go away. One way or another, as long as they're not there anymore, I think you've won. Do you really have to win a Pokemon battle? What's really the difference between a Pokemon battle and a Glock? I think from now on I'll just keep the Pokemon in the balls. Here we are at the final gym, our last badge for the gym challenge. After we claim this final badge, we can go to the Elite Four, and then we can become the champion. Easy as that. Nemona is here, because of course she is, but for once she doesn't challenge us to a battle. I'm very proud of her. The gym challenge here is to play a rhythm game, kind of, except there's no consequences. And in fact, the less you do the action they want you to do, the faster it goes. So it's actually better to just do nothing.
Yeah, you just have to hit it once. Despite the fact that it lets you hit it like 18 times.
So we passed it, I guess. Don't I look so enthralled by this? So enthusiastic. I am loving it, like McDonald's. But then I saw the gym leader, and I was all like, yo, she's got ball sacks on her back. What the fuck? When did they get so good at making hot characters in Pokemon? It's like someone at Nintendo finally watched anime, or they decided to bring on someone from the Fire Emblem team. Okay, just like one more time, and then I'm done. I promise. Yeah, just one more time. Okay. Gym Leader Tulip is a Psychic-type gym leader. She leads with Farigiraf, that Girafarig that probably had to skin another Girafarig in order to wear its tail like a hoodie. Ceruledge recently learned Night Slash, so Farigiraf goes down no problem, but not before doing a bit of damage to Ceruledge itself. I'm confident Ceruledge is pretty fast though, so I leave it in. And she sends out Espathra, the ostrich. It's just an ostrich. By the way, it evolves from this thing? What the fuck happened? Espathra turns out to be faster than Ceruledge, so he gets knocked out. You know, in hindsight, ostriches are the fastest bird on land, so I really shouldn't have expected my ethereal Mega Man-esque ghost guy to be faster than it. My bad. But you know, when all else fails, pull out the big guns. Or hammer, I suppose. Tinkaton knocks out Big Bird from Sesame Street with a couple brutal swings, and then Gardevoir comes out. The solution to this problem is to push the Terrasilize button, followed by the Gigaton Hammer button. The solution to her next Pokemon, her ace, is fairly similar. The only difference is that Gigaton Hammer is on cooldown right now, so we have to pad for time by using Brutal Swing. The following turn, however, we Brutal Swing again. Not sure why I did that, but I did. Either way, we won, and I now own every single gym badge. Plus this super special picture of Tulip that she made specially for me that I will be hanging up in that special spot in my closet. I have all 8 gym badges.
Good job.
Thanks. I am fucking cracked at Pokemon. Now that we've gathered all 8 gym badges, you know what comes next. Just like every other game, we have to go to the Pokemon League. And so of course, that's the next place I headed. The last 3 gyms were super easy, so I must be ready for the Pokemon League. What's going on over here? The goat from Splatoon is awaiting us at the door. She wishes us luck and then heads inside. Much like all the gym challenges, there's a little test we have to take before we fight the Elite Four. Rika, the one who makes me feel funny, is here to give us the test. And God, is it a stupid test? I was so angry about this. Like, needlessly. It's just like moral questions and questions about the gyms. Like, first of all, if you want me to remember things about the gyms, make them a little more memorable. Like, I had to guess on most of these, and I was lucky that I got them right. You know what? Some of it wasn't even trivia on the gyms. It was just stupid questions where it's like, do you like Pokemon? What, am I gonna say no? Obviously you want me to say yes. Do you fucking... What do you want from me? This is such a stupid challenge. Just like everything else throughout the game. You roll the peas, you go down the ski slopes. It's so dumb. But I digress. Rika, unbeknownst to me, uses ground types, which is the one type I have been struggling against all game. This was going to be a very tough battle. She leads with Whiscash, and I immediately decide I need to switch out my Ceruledge. Ceruledge was not going to hold up very well, so I decided to switch in Mousehold. Mousehold is the only Pokemon on my team with a grass-type attack. My hope here is that the funny mice can take out the Whiscash, and I can come up with some other solution for the rest of her Pokemon. Unfortunately, after I switch in, Mousehold loses half of its HP. I decide to go for a Bullet Seed anyway, but it doesn't end up doing enough. Mousehold then gets knocked out by another Muddy Water. My options aren't great here, but I decide to send in Quaquaval, as it's one of the only Pokemon on my team that should resist Whiscash. Unfortunately, Whiscash apparently knows Future Sight. Why? Since when? Thankfully, Quaquaval is able to get the knockout onto Whiscash using Acrobatics, but then takes the Future Sight attack the same turn, nearly knocking it out. Rika sends in Donphan next, and I keep out Quaquaval, hoping it'll be able to one-shot. I decide to use Liquidation, but unfortunately, it's not quite enough. Donphan knocks out Quaquaval with an Earthquake. All of my remaining Pokemon are weak to ground-type attacks, but I decide to swap in Ceruledge, banking that it'll outspeed and take out that last sliver of health on Donphan. Luckily, Ceruledge does, and Donphan goes down. Now, Ceruledge was able to take out the Donphan because it was very low on health, but this Dugtrio is going to pose a problem, because while Ceruledge may outspeed, it's not going to one-shot it. So my decision here was to revive Quaquaval, hoping that will be able to take care of it. Ceruledge gets one-shot by Earthquake, and I throw Quaquaval back into the fight. I Terrastalize Quaquaval, hoping that'll give me enough power. Liquidation hits, and Dugtrio is knocked out. Rika's next Pokemon is a Camerupt, which I welcomed with open arms. Camerupt is 4 times weak to Water-type moves. I'm Terrastalized, so I click Aqua Step, using the opportunity to raise my speed a little bit before her final Pokemon. Camerupt goes down. The end was in sight. Rika only had one more Pokemon, and I only had to click one more button, probably, to knock it out. That's what I thought at least, until she sent out Clodsire. Clodsire, as we know, has Water Absorb. And suddenly, I had no good options for attacking her. Rika Terrastalizes Clodsire into a ground type, removing its ground type weakness from its poison typing. This sucks, because my own Clodsire may have been my only option of defeating this at this point, and now that was out the window as well. I use Acrobatics, but that only does about a third of its health. Earthquake knocks out Quaquaval. Uh-oh. I throw in my own Clodsire now, hoping I'll be able to hit it with Toxic and then stall it out. It's really my only option at this point. Unfortunately, her Clodsire is faster. That kind of makes sense because it's 10 levels higher. It also one-shots me. Next, Tinkaton goes in. I use Gigaton Hammer, and fortunately, I am able to hit it. However, Gigaton Hammer doesn't quite do enough. Clodsire uses Earthquake again, and Tinkaton becomes its next victim. Oh, look at that, it even crit. Here's what we know now. Tinkaton can hit the Clodsire, and probably knock it out if I were to revive it. However, this battle is a real struggle. Is it worth it to use my resources now, only to go farther into the Elite Four, and probably lose more? Or should I throw in Pawmot, take another Earthquake, and come back again later? Well, I didn't use a revive, and so Pawmot takes an Earthquake, and we lose to the one that makes me feel funny. Unfortunately, the goal here was to beat the game in 24 hours. It had been 23 and a half hours at this point, and I don't think I was going to have time to grind up about 15 levels on each of my Pokemon and then go back to the league and then beat it. There just wasn't enough time at this point. And so we walked around and did some stuff for like 30 minutes, and then the stream ended. We didn't achieve our goal that day. Maybe if I had murdered more of my opponents instead of battling them, we would have had more time. But unfortunately, I did not discover that secret forbidden tech until it was too late. And so today we will not get to see the final epic fight with the Elite Four, or the terrific expedition into Area Zero. But maybe that's for another video. Thank you for watching.